After unboxing Thorin Oakenshield and the Elven Archer, it's time to come back to Asmus Toys for the King of Gondor himself. This is Asmus Toys' slim version of Aragorn. From the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Aragorn appears in his iconic Strider outfit. But is this slim version worth tracking down? Let's find out, shall we? First thing I want to start with is packaging itself. Now, this is the standard Hot Toys Lord of the Rings releases of, I guess, their modern era. You'll see Aragorn on the front, a couple of the Lord of the Rings ring sigils on the side. I think it's a cool design. They all do blend in very well together. And on the back, you have your standard Asmus Toys message. Overall, small box, not going to take up too much space. If you like keeping your boxes on display, it will blend in seamlessly with your Lord of the Rings collection. It's compact, it's clean, and it's okay. It's okay. Now, with that being said, let's open the box, see what's inside, and now this is going to be the body, costume, and clothing. Here's the first thing you see as you open the box. There's a lot of layering when it comes to clothing. You got the long sleeve undervest, the leather vest over that, then the iconic Ranger leather coat on top. The coat has a weathered, worn look. It does make him feel like he's been living in the wild. And the Elven cape, or should I say the Fellowship cape, nice touch as well. Now the leather vest itself, it doesn't feel stiff or plasticky. It's quite a soft material. The stitching's very clean. The overall fit is good. Although sometimes I think when it comes to Asmus, some of their costume choices can make it feel a little bit loose. But I mean, in Lord of the Rings, I don't think they have tailor-made fitted costumes anyway. So I think it looks rather effective still. The actual body itself, like the whole silhouette, I'll say it's nicely proportioned. I mean, he's lean, exactly like Aragorn. He still looks like a ranger that's lived a hard life. But yeah, the costume layers add bulk without making him look chunky. So, proportionally, thumbs up from me. It's pretty good. Now that brings us to the main piece for any figure, and that is the head sculpt and rooted hair. The likeness itself is okay. I wouldn't say it's the best, which I will get into just after this. It does make his face look sharp, which is exactly like, Viggo Mortensen himself. He's got an intense gaze and the scruffy hair too, which I think when it's in the cabinet and you're at a little bit of a distance, this can look seamless. But if you're looking close up, that is when you start to notice some of the face details look slightly off. I have the in-art version now. So before I had that, I thought this figure was perfect. But comparing it to in-art's version, I have to say there are some details that stick out like a sore thumb now. Now, if you are interested, I will be making a video on that and comparing the two. I'll also be comparing Asmus Thorin with in-art Thorin and Asmus Legolas with in-art Legolas. The hair is the main part here. The rooted hair looks lovely. The colours are great. You can see slight grey strands mixed in there with the brown. And certain angles, he looks absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, it's sometimes when you turn it, just like the Thorin that I reviewed from Asmus, there are angles where it looks a little bit off. So I'm not sure what it is, but sometimes they just focus on one angle and then the rest of the face sculpt just sort of isn't the same. The face paint's good. It's not quite Hot Toys level, but when I use custom lighting and I can shine it from different angles, yeah, you can see he still does look rough, rugged, and in the wild. There's not much else you can add to that. It's good enough for the price. Now, head sculpt and body's out the way. Let's just talk about the accessories. Now, I am quite happy with the accessories in this based on the price range. So you get 6 pairs of hands, 1 pair of relaxed, 1 pair of weapon holding, and 1 pair of fist posture. So the pretty standard hands that you get with almost every figure. You obviously get his elven cape as an extra accessory. I don't think I'd pose him without it. It just looks a hell of a lot better having the Fellowship cape rather than leaving him as he is. You get 1 elven dagger and 1 ranger sword. I always pose him with that sword. Always. It just looks phenomenal. I think the work that's gone into that, it feels like metal, which I believe it is. It's great. It's reflective. It's heavy. It feels like the real deal. And then, of course, you get the Even Star pendant, which is the necklace that Arwen gives to Aragorn in the movies. And you get the standard Asmus Toys Lord of the Rings figure stand. I mean, there's things that are missing, but Asmus has done previous versions of this. This is just the slim version, which means there's a lot less. And that's what you pay for. So you are missing like the bow, arrows. There's not a survival kit. But yeah, what does come with it is high quality. And I don't think you'd be able to use all of it posing on the shelf anyway. So this is kind of the standard Aragorn that you'd imagine from Lord of the Rings. And it's not for like the mega Lord of the Rings fan that would want the extra little details in there. Now, let's talk about articulation. Now, Asmus has said this has 36 points of articulation, which very, very high. The standard normally for any figure is about 30. This is more than their original release. So the articulation in this one compared to their, deluxe version, a lot more extensive. The shoulders have really good range. The elbows bend very well too. 90 degrees is all you need. Great ankle articulation in this, to be honest. No problems with the boots whatsoever. So you can get him in a lot of wider range stances without looking stiff. I would say it's difficult for him to hold himself up without the stand. Although the legs move well, I don't know if they hold well. So that will be a bit of a con later. I mean, the costume restricts the ab crunch a little bit, but the layers are so thin, there's not too much to worry about. You're never going to get him in a bent over kind of position. He's never going to drop the soap. I'd say, quite frankly, you can ab crunch to the point that you'd need. The head, the neck itself, you can basically do like a full rotation. Yeah, not that you'd want to make him have his head facing the other way, but again, that does show the amount of articulation that you do get. This figure is designed so you have the freedom of what you actually want to do. I managed to get some great poses, great footage. And, I can't do that without the figure looking somewhat good. So, yeah, overall, I'm happy. And for the price tag of around about £190, I think it's pretty good for the value. And now you're going to see Aragorn size comparison. So I'm just going to pose him up with Boromir here. And now if you compare that to the films, very similar size. Asmus have done a great job. And he does blend in seamlessly with any kind of Lord of the Rings theme. Now, the one thing I am excited about when it comes to Aragorn and this figure is comparing it to the in-art one. Like, there are some pros and cons to both, but there is one runaway winner, which I don't think there's going to be any surprises. Let's just get into the pros and cons of this figure. I think the rooted hair looks great. Like, a lot of people prefer sculpted. I think the rooted here really does give you options if you do want to change it up. But I don't know, it just gives it a more scruffy, rugged kind of look, and you can mess with that how you like. I think the head sculpt is somewhat decent. I wouldn't say it's a con, but it's not the best I've ever seen. It's still pretty good. The layered costume, all the fabrics and stuff, I think it's good. You have the details without it being too thick, so it doesn't affect the articulation, and that's also good. I think the accessories are pretty good for the price, so there's that. Now, if it's like Black Adam, where it had the same amount of accessories and it was 300 quid, that would be a con, but 190, you get what you pay for. Now, the cons, again, mainly most of this is just going to be the freestanding, very difficult without a base. I think some of the paintwork on the face could be a little bit better. The sculpt itself is okay, but the face paint itself, I think could do with a little bit more. The figure stand is very basic. And now the next bit is just going to be the lack of accessories. Not a problem for the price, but it is a shame that there's no bow, no arrows, no survival kit, no black brie cloak. Yeah, there's things that you'd want with Aragorn that you just don't get with this one. But if you just want, the most cost-effective Aragorn, this is the one you go for. Let's get into the rating. Now, if I had to take everything into consideration, pros, cons, price, where would this sit on a scale of 1 to 10? I think it's a solid 7, quite frankly. If the price was the same as in-art, I'd probably give this a 4, just due to face details, accessory count, and sort of the premium feel. But this isn't. This is £190 compared to in-art, which sometimes you're looking at about 400. If you're lucky, 350. So a huge difference in price. Cost effective, it's great, looks good on the shelf, 7 out of 10. Now guys, if you have this Aragorn, feel free to share your thoughts below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? And you tell me what you think your pros and cons are. If you don't have one and you are interested, this one will be for sale, as I now have in-art Aragorn, which will be staying in my collection. But yeah, it's a good figure. And I'll be interested to see the discussions below. Anyways, thank you all for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one.